Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to a brand new week of maths. We're going to start off, as always, with our fast five. So pause the screen and have a go. See how many you can do in the next sort of 5 minutes or so. Okay, fantastic. Let's go through the answers together of our questions this afternoon, or this morning even. So we have got 5 plus 8 is 13. 12 take away 2 is 10. 15 add 31, so we've got 15 add the 3, 1 10 add the 3 10s makes 4 10s, 5 1s plus the 1 makes 6, and if you weren't too sure you could always draw it, so you could draw 1 10 for 15 and 5 1s, 3 4 5, 3 10s for 31 and 1 1, and then count them all together, so 10 20 30 40 41 32 33 44 45 46. 88 take away 14, you can do it this way. We're taking away the 10s and then taking away the 1s, and you would get 74, sorry. 74, or again, we can use our method of drawing it. So we could draw 8 10s, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then 8 1s, 1 2 3 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then cross out 1 10, and then cross out 4 1s, 1 2 for 14, 3 and 4, and then count how many we've got left: 10 20 30 40 50 60 70 71 72 73 74. So we can use the same adding method for 57 add 34, even though we will be bridging over our 10. So we'll be going 67, 77, 87 for the 3 10s, and then adding the 4, we would get 91. Now I will show you how to do this next one, because we do teach a different method of converting our 10s when we have to. So we know that 7 take away 2 we can do is 5, but 8 take away 9 we can't do without going into negative numbers, so we need to draw it. Okay, so we draw 7 10s, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then we draw 8 1s, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We then take away the 2 10s, okay, and then we take away 9 1s, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, we've got an extra 1 that we need to take away, so we're going to take it away from this 10 here. So 10 take away 1 is 9, because it's had 1 taken away from it, so it's no longer a 10, it's become a 9. And now we count how many we've got left: 10 20 30 40 plus the 9, so we get 49. Okay, 66 add 17, we add the 10 to make 76, and then add the 17 is going to be 83. And then 74 take away 26, which is use the same method as before, because 4 take away 6 we can't do in our heads without using negative numbers. So it's 74, take away the 20 would get it to 54, and then take away the 6 would make it 48. Okay, 6 times 8 would also be 48. 4 times 3 would get us 12. 11 times 5 would get us 55. And 6 times 10, our last one, would get us the answer 60. So well done if you've got all of those right. Absolutely fantastic. Right, let's move on with today's learning. Okay, today we're going to be doing a new unit all about shape. And we're going to be recognising 2D and 3D shapes today. So we're not looking at their properties, but we're recognising. We're seeing how many we can remember from year 1, where you were taught, and in reception, all the 3D and 2D names of the shapes and what they look like. We're going to be doing some more work on them and properties and comparing them and things as we go through. But to start with, today we're just recognising them. So looking at them and knowing what they are. So we're going to look at a shape. We're going to work out if it's 2D or 3D. We're going to check out the familiar properties it has. So what things do we recognise? What things do we know makes it a shape? And we're going to recall from our memory what that name of that shape is. So The first big question we have today is what is and which of the following shapes is an octagon? Okay, so which of them is an octagon? So let's remember from our memory how many sides an octagon has. It has that oct word in it that sounds a bit like octopus. So how many sides do you think it's got? Which one do you think it is? So pause the screen and tell me which shape is an octagon. Off you go. Okay, so if we think about an octagon, it's a 2D shape. So we know it's going to be one of these flat shapes, not one of these 3D shapes. And if we think about the word octagon, octagon has octopus in it. It's like 8 legs, 8 sides. So let's count how many this one has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have picked D as your octagon. Okay, and if you look at it, you can see straight away it's an octagon. I remember that in my mind, that when I see this top bit like this and the bottom bit the same, and then bits in the middle holding it up, I know it's an octagon. So that's 8. I can see it's got 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, makes 6, and then 2 in the middle makes us have our 8. So what is the difference between 2D and 3D shapes? So we've kind of already spoken about that a little bit. If you pause the screen and have a go at telling me now. Okay, fantastic. So 2D shapes are our flat shapes, okay? They're not a solid, they're not an object, they're flat, and they have sides. Meanwhile, the 3D shapes, we've got our edges, they're a solid, they're fat, they stand up, they can be on their own, they're an object. Okay, that's the difference. So I have shared, because this is a brand new kind of topic, and there's a lot of language in shape, and it's a lot of, some people are really good at shape, but also it's one where people can, even if they find maths really easy, can sometimes find it a little bit tricky. So if you go into our files area on Teams under maths, I've shared a knowledge organizer, which will help you, especially today, but over the next few days of kind of remembering what those shapes are called and looking at the difference between 2D and 3D shapes. So 2D shapes, like we've said already, are flat. They have, we've got edges, we've got corners or vertexes as they're called, but they don't have faces and things like that, okay? And sometimes we call the edges sides as well. It's sort of the same way. They are flat, and here are some examples. So we've got a rectangle, 4 sides, a triangle, 3, circle, has 1 side and it's a curved side. Meanwhile, these are straight sides. A pentagon is 5, a hexagon is 6, and an octagon we've already seen is 8. And then you may have also heard of a heptagon, which goes in the middle, which is 7. Now over here we have 3D shapes, which, as I've talked about, are solid. They stand up on their own. They're fat, not flat. That's how I always remember it. And they have vertices, again. They have edges, and they have these faces. So here are the faces here, which are the bits that are kind of like they're kind of the flat bits that show the faces, the different kind of, not sides, but the different kind of areas that they have all around them are their faces. Okay. So, and there's some examples of ones we've got is a cuboid, which is made up of lots of rectangular faces. So faces are the shapes that make them up, that then come together to make them 3D. A cylinder, which has circular faces. A sphere, which has just one kind of face, which then is made of, which is kind of like a circular shape. A triangular prism. Now, prisms are really important because there's loads of different types of prisms, and they're made up of mainly rectangles, but then they also have a kind of a one shape at the end of them. So this one looks a bit like a Toblerone, if you've ever seen that chocolate. Okay, but because it has a triangle, it's called a triangular prism because it has a triangle at its end. But you may see hexagonal prisms, you may see octagonal prisms that have got hexagons or octagons at the end of them. Okay, but prisms are mainly made up of rectangles, and they've got another shape kind of basing them up as well. A cone is a triangular shape, but it has a circular bottom. Okay, it has a circular end, and we often see cones to show the traffic, or if you turn it the other way around, to have an ice cream. And then the other one, that's a tricky one that you have to remember, is a pyramid. So a pyramid is made up of normally of triangles, and if it has all triangles, it's just called a pyramid. But if it has a different bottom, so like this one has a base at the bottom, which is a square, we call it a square-based pyramid. So you always have to look around. If it's just made up of triangles, it's a pyramid. If it's got a different base, then it would be a different style of pyramid, a different based pyramid. But as I said, the best thing to do, I would say, is to get this document. If you've got a printer, brilliant, download it. If you haven't, maybe take a picture of it or something so you can have it on a phone next to you, or you can try and remember some of these names, okay? or go back in this video if you can't use Teams to see the different names for these shapes. Okay. Right, let's have a go now at naming this shape. So think, is it 2D or 3D? Think of its properties, its sides, and then see if you can work out which of these words means its name, is its name. Pause the screen and have a go. Okay, so we know first of all it's a 2D shape. It's flat, okay? It doesn't look like these 3D shapes that are coming off the page and they've got all these different faces and these different edges and vertices and things like that. We're going to count the sides and then we're going to see if that can help us out, because that's going to sort of help us, the points and the sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 sides or edges, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I think about it, it's not going to be a cylinder because that's 3D. It's not going to be a sphere because that's 3D. An octagon we've already decided has 8, and I know that a hexagon has 6. Now this isn't straight on how a hexagon would look. If you kind of turn your head a little bit, you can see that's how a traditional hexagon does look when it's on the page. Okay, now we're going to test that knowledge of when we were talking about prisms and pyramids. So, is this a prism or a pyramid, first of all? So let's look, has it got rectangles or has it got triangles? Let's have a little look. It's got triangles, so we know it's going to be a something pyramid. Now, do we think, because a prism is made up of rectangles and then the pyramid is made up of mainly triangles with another shape, do we think this shape is a square-based pyramid? Let's have a look at the base, the bottom, or a triangular base pyramid, or we can just call that a pyramid. So pause the screen and have a go. Is it a square-based or a triangular-based? Okay, well done. And the answer you should have ticked is triangular, because you can see at the bottom, we have got a triangle there. Okay, so we've got our triangle, which makes its base. It's made up of all triangles, so it's a triangular base pyramid. It's not a square-based pyramid, because if we look back at our picture here, we can see the square-based pyramid has a very clear square as its base. Okay, so your activities today are, your main activity is as an assignment on Teams, where what you have to do is you have to go through, and it's got a picture for each box of 3 or 4 shapes. It says the name of the shapes in the box, and you need to write down which letter shows it. So I've done one for you. So circle, you can really clearly see is letter A. So you put a letter A next to it. Meanwhile, have a look at the others, which one is a square and which one is a cuboid. And the same with these ones as well. Remember to use that resource that is on Teams as well to help you, because that'll have lots of information about what the different shapes are, and get gradually harder. And here you've got some real life objects. What 3D or 2D shapes are they? And then there also is a shape quiz on Teams as well, which will be checking your knowledge of those shapes as well. So I look forward to seeing your assignments. I look forward to seeing your quizzes, and enjoy the rest of your morning. Bye for now.